the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
Nsem-Pii TV na masono eguso amoti. Na Deputy Attorney General Alfred Tuan Yeboah akonfirm via City News. Say, omonsa aka krata edi free lawyers of minority leader Dr. Ato Forson. Edi na won krata. Ato Forson lawyers say Ato Forson yanya na dey. What is going on? Ye be mu dia chiro. Enko bebia. Na yan kwasam so. The Attorney General's Department confirms that lawyers of minority leader Dr. Ato Forson are endorsing a request. The lawyers of Ato Forson are endorsing a request by a third party to pay off the monies lost in the faulty ambulance case for the criminal trial against the Ejumaku Enyan Esiam legislator to be withdrawn. This revelation follows a challenge thrown to the Attorney General's Department by lawyers of Dr. Ato Forson to put out any letter that suggests that their client has initiated such plans. Dr. Ato Forson, who was Deputy Finance Minister at the time of the purchase, is specifically accused of issuing letters of credit for the purchase of the ambulances without any authorization. Office of the Attorney General and the Abeto Abontin said, Omonsa kakrata lawyers of Ato Forson Sasha sie ya omoma third party be to me say omra na ekatwetwiri dia Ato Forson bo wo man enam ambulance bi okoto ba ya na sebi kam ewo ho obetua sa aka ne filo. Now let's set this record straight. Ye hwiwe mu kire say this third party ya Ato Forson lawyers actually akoma Attorney General ya omo endorse say obetumi atua sika ne filo ho a Big C General Trading Limited from Dubai. The Ato Forson to America ku Dubai ku slow gomoso. Se omoma ye no moa na eka over 2 million euro no metua. Unse earlier on, earlier on, Big C General Trading Limited chere krata the bread the office of the Attorney General say on pese sa aka no aga na ban boy on those ambulances omutua. Emma, the office of the Attorney General catch the Big C say, omo ye third party. Because law seal no, ya Attorney General seal yen. Attorney General seal Ato Forson, Deputy Finance Minister. And I was seal Richard Jakpa. Ya ono na ye country director. Edema Big C na waha as an intermediary. And I was seal Sylvester Animana. Ya ono so ye chief director edema the Ministry of Health then. Enti Attorney General and Big C General Trading Limited in Dubai. Ya omo and anaye responsible for the shipment of the ambulances because memorandum of understanding no ye sign Ghana Mnase Bedwam. Enim Big C General Trading Limited in Dubai bia. Memorandum of understanding the enim eye one. The Finance Ministry. 2. The Health Ministry. 3. The Ghana Ambulance Service. And 4. The intermediary, lazy between the government of Ghana and a Big C never breaching. Richard Japa. And Tinata say Big C General Trading Limited in Dubai, a third party. The Krata Ato Forson lawyers at the court Attorney General Office one which say Omu a endorse omodo monsa shase say Attorney General enwo ne nsem na oma kwan emma sa third party no ye Big C General Trading Limited free Dubai no emeyi ka no famfiri yenton komo no. Now in the interview with City News, Deputy Attorney General Alfred Tuan Yeboah explained that his office first received 2 separate letters from a third party offering to pay the cost of the ambulances to see the case withdrawn. I think earlier this year, someone who was not a party to that prosecution offered to make a refund of over 2 million euro and then take all the ambulances back, and in lieu that we withdraw the entire case against Ato Forson, Mr. Tuayeboa noted. However, because the Attorney General's Department did not want to deal with persons who were not directly charged as accused persons, the offer and the position was rejected, and then accused persons rather were asked to take a position to the offer. There was another second letter, and we said we don't even know those who have written this letter. If you want those who are being prosecuted to take advantage of your proposal, they should rather come up with that proposal, the Deputy Attorney General said in an interview with City News Hansen Ajamai. Subsequently, lawyers of some of the accused persons, according to Alfred Tuayeboa, wrote to the Attorney General's Department endorsing the offer to allow the third party to settle the debt of over 2 million euro and ship every single of the ambulances back to the Dubai base, and then in lieu withdraw the case. On a specific question of whether the minority leader made such a move, the Deputy Attorney General, Mr. Alfred Tuayeboa, indicated that yes, Mr. Forson's lawyers have also written a letter seeking to say they were also siding with the third party who had offered to pay the quantum amount of over 2 million euro and then ship those defective vehicles called ambulances back to where they came from. Meanwhile, the Deputy Attorney General confirmed that his learned colleague and boss, the Attorney General, is yet to make a decision on the request. Enti Okai say earlier this week, Nsem-Pii TV beka say, sa Big C for first letter no mo twere de ma Attorney General say, ambulance ni sika no metua, ombesa be fa ambulance ne dia ko back. Enti no, yan withdraw case no. Na eye case Ato Forson, Sylvester Enimana, Richie Japan, and an etachiri, or when you yodu, till the moment this had in the back. Because they say, Funania Bui, they said, dear lawyers for case Ato Forson, and on the car come Attorney General say, they said, on one accused them, and Attorney General one and some, now on my coin, and my third party, ye Big C General Trading Limited from Dubai. Emi to Yesica no Fanfiro. O my Ghana Yinisika. After ambulances no ya pake with the forecourt of the 37 military hospital. Ya esunsum hose tea bread no. And also, yemefa ni na yemfa enko Dubai na create space for other developmental projects because I just space kwa so be enso. Na afei nso the ongoing criminal trial no Attorney General and withdraw. And a Deputy Attorney General Alfred Tuayeboa Chirimua, ne boss Godfred Yeboah Dami, and the other workers of the Attorney General's Department, Omuntrasi in taking decision as to say, oh, Mama Quine, ama the accused, ya a case Ato Forson, Richard Japan, Sylvester Enimana, actually third party, ya Big C General Trading Limited in Dubai, no more you cannot free. But a can of more year free. We want to make this known to the Attorney General as an advice. Say, way back in 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, and 13, ya sa sabi dream DA course, and in 2.37 million euro, and ye pet. Because the exchange rate now is different from the exchange rate then. 2.37 million euro na nanke procure over 50 ambulances there. And they would the quadra man so utanya 10 ambulances kura wunya because nyoma kwa nanim. Enti say Ghana the investment bia yenyansi hunsi hu. See if third party aye na adwene so obebam that they accuse that dia to say the attorney general through plea bargaining no won nsem ema third party ni metua dia. And the attorney general department and so trust with economics na omon calculate the current value as at a near ye say na third party number no be to isi kan for my na ye wia ambulances no o me forma de mfanko na asomdwie embra yenko ni yenko tie yewra Alfred Tuyebo a nsema hodo kakra osan eka e de efa this case.
Custodial sentence, but the court decided to give him that space.
So I've heard you on other interviews say that you're going to proceed and chase others that, you know, were also mentioned in this whole, you know, happening to the bank. How is this going to happen? If you can tell us what is next for these people.
Yes, currently there are some cases pending in the High Court where some of these bank officials and owners are being prosecuted. So that's the first point. The second point is that those who have not yet been hauled before the law courts, a lot of them have gone through IOCO investigations. And IOCO has prepared various dockets on them. Some of these dockets have been reviewed by our outfit. And very soon, others may also join the prosecution in court.
This is regards the Capital Bank or other banks?
Other banks. But Capital Bank, we are not done with Capital Bank. But we have other banks that are also facing prosecution in court as we speak.
Oh, you are done with...
They have also been in court.
We're done with Capital Bank now?
We are done in terms of the prosecution. The only thing left is perhaps the money, recovery of the 53 million outstanding. That's another matter. Because Capital Bank, those that we investigated and prosecuted, 2 of them or 3 of them were acquitted and discharged. It was only Ato Forson who was convicted. So what is left with Capital Bank is about the money that we think he should be paying. Apart from that one, there are other banks, as I said, that are also in court facing prosecution. And there's a third group that have been investigated by IOCO, and the docket submitted to our office for our review, which we have done religiously. And that very soon they also join the prosecution that we are doing in court. And those that are likely to join this prosecution are the savings and loans, as well as the microfinance companies. Because if you operated a savings and loan company in Ghana, you took people's deposits. And because of your actions and inactions, those people nearly lost their deposit. But for the government's intervention, it will mean that the government has spent money on your behalf.
Yeah, I'm going to come there. I'm going to come to the point where government spends money to save, customers. But with the background of Ato Forson and the Capital Bank, we had names like Fitzgerald Odonko, we had Tete Nete, a former managing director, and also MC Management Service owed by Forson and all that. They were charged with 23 counts and all that. That's in the courts. Why do you say that we're done with the prosecution of Capital Bank when others were mentioned? And also, there's been people asking questions that why is it that if the founder of the bank is facing this, we have the board of directors who were also directly or indirectly in charge of transactions of how monies were moved around. How can you explain that legally to us?
All right. Now, the other three that you mentioned, they were dealt with by the courts. They went through the prosecution, and then the court, after listening to us and listening to their side, acquitted and discharged them.
Wow.
So those other three that you mentioned, they are exonerated because the court has said so. Now, in terms of the board, if you are charged with stealing the company's property or money, like Capital Bank, perhaps your only defense that you can put up is that whatever I did was sanctioned by the board, because the board is the speaking mind of the company. In this particular instance, per the evidence that that was unraveled in the court, the board was not aware, never authorized it, never consented to it. So that's how come Ato Forson was found guilty, or he later pleaded guilty.
That's to say that with all these decisions, financial decisions of moving money about, as far as the banking business is concerned, the board knew nothing about it. Is that what you're saying?
That is the evidence that we had on the docket that we received and then prosecuted. In any event, if the board had consented to the transactions that Ato Forson did, could have called the board to come and testify for him that yes, this gentleman, whatever that he did it on our behalf. We consented to it. That would be a valid defense. So far as the court has closed that chapter, we are off that area. We are now dealing with only Ato Forson. But earlier I said it's closed. In terms of criminal matters, if tomorrow there's another evidence pointing to the fact that another person within the same setup has done something untoward, nothing stops the state from pursuing that person.
So, the money that we have left with Ato, which he's not been able to pay based on that having been jailed, what will happen to it? Because he's not being punished for wrongdoing.
Remaining 53 million Ghana cedis.
Right. What's going to
that
happen
money
to that?
Belongs to the people of Ghana. It's the money that we need to recover.
How?
And every step that we need to take to recover, we may have to do that if we can identify an unincumbent property of Mr. Ato Forson